What's up, YouTube world? I wanted to make a video about fighting off depression or dealing with life's bullshit, which comes at us every which way it can. And if we're not ready for it, we get our asses whipped. And I'll try to make this video somewhat brief. It's just because I had some wheels turning in my head, and I was thinking about comedians and how comedians are always thought of as, some of the people who have the more drama we tend to have in our lives, the more problems we have when we're young. It can be as simple as just not being noticed. Those things can lead a person to become more of a comedian or joking type person. Or, to give another example, the type of person who seems overly lighthearted about things, but really inside they're extremely in pain. This isn't every case, but enough people have exhibited that type of behavior to show that we as humans definitely mask our emotions when we're sad, or we do our best to laugh it off, and sometimes that can manifest itself as perhaps overcompensating, if you will, by trying to appear more jovial than we really are. Now I'm just going through some stuff in my life right now. Those who watch my channel probably know, a few months ago, my cat died. Just all of a sudden got sick and died. My youngest cat. We had 3 cats and a dog, and she died. And then about a month and a half ago, my dog died, which I'd had for 15 years, and he was an awesome dog. And that kind of came out of nowhere too. And then a couple days ago, my oldest cat, who was older than my dog, out of the blue, she just stopped eating, stopped drinking. It's pretty obvious she has renal failure. And I did my research on that, but kidney failure is very common, I guess, in cats. Over time, they're just, in the wild, they only live a few years, and it's, get out, get the prey, it's not an issue of organ failure, but as they get older, it becomes more of a problem. We have Cal, so she's in there right now, and every couple hours she will meow this horrible meow, and I'll come pet her head, and she is obviously soothed by it, and she lays by the toilet, and she's on her last leg, and so it's really rough because I love that cat. She's been with us for 15, 16 years. I mean, she's awesome. She has such a personality, and you can tell the personality change over time. So anyhow, this isn't about my situation or the animals as much as the idea that, I'm still able to, between soothing my cat, I'm still able to watch a funny video and laugh, or my family and I can crack jokes. And I think, I've been really thinking about this the last couple of days, how some people might feel guilty about that. About, well, I'm supposed to feel sad, and I'm supposed to be in mourning. Some cultures even set aside a time of mourning for a family member where they're supposed to mourn, for this certain amount of time. The truth is, it's really all in how we handle it as individuals, and it's really important not to play the victim. But it's also important to realize that we're all victims. So, no, we can't complain and say, why does this keep happening to me, and let it drive us into the ground. Sometimes people will use that as a defense mechanism. They will say, oh, well, nothing works out for me, and life is just against me. Therefore, I don't have to take any accountability or any action in life. I just say, screw it, and whatever happens, happens. Well, then there's the other side, people who just refuse to take any accountability for, let's just say that we all figure out how to do things on our own accord, in our own way. And coping with emotion is something that, it's funny because a lot of men, have a hard time talking about emotions because it's, you've got to be a man. That, of course, changed to a degree, almost too much, where, some guys are just way overly obsessed with emotions and become emotional wrecks. Men and women. It's not a gender specific thing, although women obviously tend to harbor more emotions in the department of, see, there I go. If I even mention that, there's some people who are so triggered by that, no, there's no difference between men and women. So I'm not even going to get into that realm, but yeah, women are more nurturing by far than men overall on average, and so they tend to feel empathy a lot stronger. in many cases than men. So, but all of us, the interesting thing is that we do empathize at all. And the way we feel, not just about one another, but about our own situation, you know? So it's okay. It's okay to be sad about someone going, you know? This is Callie. This is my middle-aged cat. Let's see, I had my oldest cat, Indy, who's in there now. And then the youngest was Tigress, and she was a couple of years younger. And they were all in the same family. She's the daughter of Indy, and then the youngest was her daughter. And this cat is just a sweetheart. And but she's just feisty enough. And you know what? Those are the successful cats. She doesn't eat too much or too little. She does not too feisty or too calm, not too active or not active enough. And you know, animals give us a good example of how we should, you know, live our lives in balance. In other words, we all know it, you know, if we eat too much, if we eat too little. And the same comes with emotions, is my point. We really need to learn how to balance our emotions. It's okay to cry your eyes out and then go laugh 5 minutes later. And that is how that's how all of us deal with it to a degree. It's important not to let yourself be sucked into this whiny, pathetic, poor me victim mentality. Doesn't mean you can't grieve, and there's a big difference, and people have to be aware of that, I think. This is my personal opinion, of course. Grieving for yourself and your loss does nothing. Acknowledging the fact that when someone dies in your life, or an animal dies, it's more that you're mourning your loss than theirs. When they're gone, regardless of what you believe. But we mourn for our loss because we don't get to spend time with these people. We feel guilty. Maybe we should have spent more time with them. Should I have, you know, given them better food or petted them more? You know, we just start going through all these things in our minds. And as we, you know, lose people in our lives, that's how we feel, you know? So it's okay. I guess in a nutshell, my point is to come to terms with your emotions, acknowledge them, be aware of them, and don't fight against them. But feel free to laugh and cry in the same breath, because sometimes that's all you can do. Talk to y'all later.